The regular meeting. You guys must have missed us. Look at all these people. The regular meeting of the Annapolis City Council on Monday, September 9th, 2024 will be called to order at 7:01. At this time, Alderman Savage will give the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. May we legislate with wisdom, patience, and respect this evening. Thank you.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'll administer the oath of office to Ward 1 Alderman Mr. Harry Huntley.
He's going to the table.
I'll come over to you, Harry. I'll come over to you. Just do it under here.
No, not here. We don't do bar.
Right. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Want to reconsider?
My parents are already here.
So, I will say I, and then you say I and your full name, and then you continue repeating after me. All set? All set?
I, Harry Huntley,
Do swear
do swear
and affirm as the case may be
and affirm as the case may be
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of Alderman representing Ward 1,
represent the office of Alderman representing Ward 1,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the laws of this state
and the laws of this state
and the Charter and Code of the City of Annapolis.
and the Charter and Code of the City of Annapolis.
Congratulations. Cheers.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you. Take a seat over here.
Thank God I'm next to Regina.
Any signing, Regina? Oh, thank you.
Turn the mic on.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley,
Here.
Alderman Huntley,
Here.
Alderwoman O'Neill. Present. Alderman Pendell Charles.
Present.
Alderman Finlayson.
Present.
Alderman Shandemeyer. Alderman Gay.
Here.
Alderman Savage.
Present.
Alderman Arnett.
Present.
Thank you.
And I will apologise for Alderman Savage. He is stuck on that accident on 50, but he will be here soon. Oh, no, Alderman Shandemeyer, sorry.
He's like, no, I'm not.
They look so alike. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda to remove AP 1024, appointment of Patrick Hogan, Ethics Commission, and to add AP 4724, reappointment of Ms. Nadine Chin, Board of Appeals and City Council citation to Christopher Brianis. And I think Alderman Alderman Gay has something to add. Is that
So
here?
moved.
No.
Second.
Is there anything on this one? We need a motion.
I'll make another motion, if possible, to move R4424 to the top of the agenda.
On first reader, can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, we're going to move those all together. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is citations, beginning with ID 12724, Gone Fishing Award in honor of Lieutenant Della.
Want to set this up? Yeah. So this is one of our favourite things of the multiple outreach things we do in the community. I'll let you speak a little bit later, but I'll just put this on behalf of the residents of the city of Annapolis.
The mic.
I'm out of breakfast for a month. On behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we're pleased to confer upon you the City Council citation for participation in the Lieutenant Brian Della Annapolis Police Department 2023 Summer Fishing Camp. The fishing camp was founded in 2001 by Lieutenant Della and fellow Annapolis police officers. They hope to give children in our community an opportunity to go fishing, get in nature, learn new skills, and form positive and lasting relationships with officers and mentors who support the program. Luna, you are receiving this award because you caught the biggest fish at the camp. Congratulations. Congratulations on being a top angler, and we hope that you continue to fish and that fishing helps you continue to grow your appreciation of the outdoors. Well done. All right, here we go, second one here. Awesome. Look at this guy's fishing hat. They all wear them. There we go, thank you so much. Did you want to say anything or you're good? Okay, so we're good. All right, have you got some fish for us? Thank you. Right, so Mr. City Attorney, next
Yes, the next.
citation.
Yes, sir. The next item is ID 12824, Rotary Club and Seahee Lexus.
Okay, anyone here from Lexus? Thank you so much.
Is that citation, to be honest, is that going up here? The citation, to be honest, it's going after ID 13621. Do we have a citation? It has no ID.
Yeah, we're worried that he might be in the traffic.
It has no
Okay,
ID.
no worries. And Rotary together.
Rotary's here, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
It's been a whole month for this. All right, if I can just squeeze in the middle here, just take this. How we're doing? Okay. All set. On behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we're pleased to confer upon you this City Council citation in recognition of your significant contribution to our community. Your dedication to securing the purchase of the 15-passenger van has significantly enhanced local transportation and improved the quality of life for our residents. Your proactive approach and steadfast leadership in addressing our city's transportation needs demonstrates a profound sense of civic responsibility and community spirit. Your efforts have played a crucial role in supporting local initiatives, including camps, parades, Special Olympics, and have made lasting positive impact on community members. We extend our deepest gratitude for your invaluable support and for exemplifying the very essence of community service. And I know somebody here wants to speak a little bit about that van because she was crushing me for a year to get it done. So.
As you all came in, you saw that absolutely gorgeous community service van outside. It is brand new. It still smells new when you open the door. We had broken down equipment that helped transport many people around the city, and thanks to the Rotary helped us raise $20,000 for it. Unfortunately, he's stuck in traffic. They donated another $20,000, and the city put up the third $20,000, and that vehicle is absolutely magnificent, and it's outside. So when you leave tonight, take a look at it. But these are the people who helped us get it.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda. Next item, Mr. Laws.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. The next item is ID 13624, Bill Eubanks, for his timely service to the mayor and city of Annapolis.
Eubanks.
I got something for you.
Hey, how are you? I've got something for you too.
No, well,
I didn't know that. Let me hold this up. This is a long story. Let me do this for you.
I got you a nice one of our magnets and a team patch.
Oh, awesome.
You're official.
So this is a great story. I'll try to make it fast. The city has pulled down tens of millions of dollars of different waterfront initiative grants. So I take people out. It's amazing how many people haven't been on the water that live in Annapolis and get to see our projects from the water side. So one time I was taking a group out and there were two non-swimmers in the group, and as I unloaded them on the dock, one of them pushed the ladder away and was about to go in the water, and we saved her from going in the water. She couldn't swim, but my phone fell in. So on behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we're pleased to confer upon you this City Council citation in recognition of your surprising act of retrieving Mayor Gavin Buckley's phone from Spar Creek after he lost it while giving a tour of area waterways. By chance, you were diving in Spar Creek on that day when the mayor saw you get out of the water and asked if you could retrieve his phone. You hopped off your bulkhead and went under the water. Seconds later, you emerged with the phone in hand, which still worked after being submerged for 3 hours, by the way. We understand you have often dived the waters of Annapolis, retrieving items that fell in the water, including most recently a Rolex watch Your actions exemplify the spirit of community that we value in Annapolis. We our sincere gratitude. It was like losing my right hand when I didn't have that phone for 3 hours. So thank you so much. We commend you for saving the day and the phone. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you.
I'm sorry my wife's not here tonight, but we just got her out of Mercy Medical Center undergoing ovarian cancer.
Okay.
And just a phenomenal team there. Daughter's also involved heavily in volleyball, so she was tired tonight, but sorry. They were both sorry they had to miss this, but that's one heck of a team at the Mercy Medical Center, and it's been tough, but
We're all thinking of you.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Yeah. And I've got a gift certificate for you too.
like I
Thank
said.
you so much. I didn't know they were doing this. This is great. Awesome. Thank you.
It's one of our team patches.
Thanks for the swag.
Yeah. Told you I'd hook you up.
I didn't recognize you without your wetsuit on.
I know. I mean, I jump into the phone booth.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, sir. The next item is City Council citation to Christopher Brianis.
Hey, how we doing? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Cool. Awesome. Right.
My way.
Excellent. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Famous Annapolis name there. On behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we're honoured to present this citation to you in recognition of your retirement after 20 years of dedicated service to the United States Navy. Annapolis born and raised and a proud graduate of the United States Naval Academy, your unwavering commitment to our nation's defence has been exemplary. Your career has been a testament to the values of honour, duty, and sacrifice that we cherish deeply. You served with distinction, and your contributions have inspired many within our community. Thank you for upholding these values and for your exemplary service. Your legacy will continue to inspire future generations. Our best wishes for your future endeavours as you embark on this new chapter of your life. Fair winds and following seas. Thank you. Thank you so much. You can say a couple of words if you like.
Sure. I'll say a couple words. I've obviously embraced the civilian life in the past few weeks with this beard, but it truly has been an honor serving the country for the last 25 years, 29 if you include the time at the Naval Academy, and even more so being an Annapolitan. So born here, came back in 5th grade, Annapolis Elementary, Bates Middle, Annapolis High School, and then didn't go far for college at the Naval Academy. So this is a real honor to stand here in front of you all and receive this citation from Mayor Buckley. Sincerely appreciate it. And it's a really unique relationship the city has with the Naval Academy here. And I would just encourage folks to explore the Navy as an option, to explore government service as an option. And it's great to see everyone here participating in citizenry and government. So thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
You. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is petitions, reports, and communications, beginning with update from the mayor.
I'm not going to do that from here. So. It's the good part of the job right there. So good evening. Welcome back. I want to start tonight by sharing some sad news. Valessa Clark, who spent 30 years working for the City of Annapolis, first in finance and then as a buyer in the purchasing office, passed away last week, surrounded by her loving family after an 8-month illness. Valessa was a kind and gentle person with a great sense of humor and infectious laugh. Her daughter, Brianna, followed in her mum's professional footsteps and worked first in finance and is now a buyer in the purchasing department. This is a tough time for family, colleagues, and co-workers and friends. I'd like us to take a few moments of silence to honour Valessa and her service to our residents. Thank you. We also have some happier news tonight. I'd like to offer congratulations to our newest alderperson, Harry Huntley, who was appointed by the Democrat Central Committee last week to replace Ellie Tierney as the representative for Ward 1. Welcome, Harry. I too want to personally, and the City Council personally, thank Ellie Tierney for her amazing 6.5 years of service. She was a fierce advocate for Ward 1, a hawk on the budget. I'm going to miss her putting her engineering hat on and questioning us on everything. She served that ward so well, and I really appreciate, even though we didn't always agree on everything, she was an amazing councillor, and we were lucky to have her for 6.5 years. If we could give her a little round of applause. Maybe a little. We all hope she was watching that from Cape Cod, but she probably has a life, so she might not be, right? I've been greatly impressed by Harry's commitment and knowledge, and I know he'll work hard to make a positive difference to Ward 1 and all our residents. As we move into the final year of this council term, Harry has kindly agreed to fill Ellie Tierney's committee roles as well, so that we have maximum continuity and stability in what will be a big year of delivering for Annapolis. Since July, the Mayor's Office of African American Outreach Team has been leading a series of pop-up tours in different parts of town each week on Thursday afternoon. These are highly successful engagements in the communities that are not always in a position to come to us to access services. So far, we've been to Bywater, Bay Ridge Gardens, Robinwood, Woodside Gardens, Eastport Terrace, Clay Street, Allen Apartments, Annapolis Gardens, and Bloomsbury Square. This Thursday, the pop-up service fair will be in Admiral Oaks. Then on September 9th, 19th in Bowman Place. On September 26th, we will be at Morris Blum, and October 3rd at Wilburn Estates, and our last pop-up will be at Harbour House on October 10th. At each event, we are joined by amazing partners, including the Office of Community Services, APD, and OEM, as well as county partners such as Anne Arundel Power and a number of non-profits who provide community services and resources. Plus, there is always free food, refreshment, games, and much more. The feedback so far has been great. One resident from Bloomsbury Square took the time to call and say thank you for thinking of our residents in her community. So if you see our teams in your neighbourhood, bring the kids and come out and say hello. Help spread the word to neighbours and friends so that everyone has a chance to connect. We'd love to see you all there. Last week, the team held another great event for our first joint expungement fair held in partnership with the county and the state at the Bush Library. This event was coordinated by Tiana Hayes and our Naptown and Tola and our Naptown anti-dope movement team, whose work centres on substance use and disorder prevention. A total of 125 people got low-level and driving offences cleared off their records, all of which can be a barrier to jobs and opportunity. Surrounding the room, community organisations and state officials had booths set up with everything from overdose prevention, Narcan giveaways to information and job training, and even job opportunities. These are the kinds of things that city government can do to make a real difference in the lives of our residents. Having trusted and credible community members and advocates lead this work is so important and has been a focus on this administration's outreach efforts. I'd like to congratulate Tiana Hayes and Tola Adejahi of the Nowtown Anti-Dope Movement and the whole outreach team for a very successful event that literally has the power to change lives. We plan to hold more expungement fairs in the future, so look out for those. Tomorrow, we will have a visit from the Mayor of Fremantle, Australia. As most of you know, that's the part of the world that I called home before I came to America. Fremantle is right next to my hometown Perth, the capital of Western Australia. Like Annapolis, Fremantle is known for its maritime history as a port city and for its historic architecture. The population of Fremantle is similar to Annapolis. There are about 35,000 people in Fremantle, about 39,000 in Annapolis. Tomorrow, I look forward to showing the Mayor Hannah Fitzharding around Annapolis, including meetings and presentations here at City Hall. We will also initiate a sister city agreement together tomorrow to celebrate our cities, what our cities have in common, and the enduring friendship between the US and Australia. We've sent an invitation to all the council members and to the directors to please join us at 2 o'clock, and any of you who want to come on, please come around and so show her a warm Annapolis welcome. So lastly, I'm going to go through a few numbers of things that are coming up. We've got some exciting events in the next few weeks. First up is the Singer-Songwriter Festival, now in its third year. It's this weekend, September 12th to 15th, at locations all around the city, including a big city concert, a big concert at City Dock. Also remember, there's lots of free music as well as paid-for music at Ram's Head, at City Dock and that, so there's a lot of talent in town, so please come down to town. Feels amazing when this festival is on for 3 days. Also, on September 14th, the Kunta Kinte Festival is at the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. A new location this year. It starts at 10 a.m. to 7. It is in the blue lot, so please come out and support that. It's getting bigger every year, and the stadium should be a great way to expand the festival. Throughout the month of September, we will be highlighting Hispanic Heritage Months with flags on Main Street, a poetry contest, the Latino Art Gallery show at City Hall, with a Meet the Artist reception on September 17th, and Day of the Dead Festival at Maryland Hall on October 26th. On September 16th, we'll be hosting a business roundtable with Comptroller Brooke Learman. This is for local small businesses, outreach through our Office of Economic Development, and I'm pleased to announce that we are already at capacity for that event. Lastly, one of our big events of the year, the Fall Powerboat Show and Sailboat Show, are coming on October 3rd to the 6th and October 10th to the 4th. Please be alert for increased traffic downtown. We're always looking forward to checking out the latest and greatest in maritime offerings, technology, and accessories. Thank you all. Now let's get on with this meeting. Thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is reports by committees.
I think maybe no reports today. Well, okay. Alderman O'Neill.
So I don't have reports based on the last committee meeting because that was way back in June. But we do have a Transportation Committee meeting coming up on Wednesday, September 11th, 4 p.m. here in Council Chambers, and we are talking about parking. But nobody cares about parking.
When did that become a thing? Alderwoman Finlayson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Rules and City Government Committee did have an opportunity to meet since we've been back. We met on September 6th. We addressed the 6 appointments that are on our agenda this evening, and we gave all 6 favorable recommendations. We also discussed the Small Maritime Business Work Group. Director Jakubiak, as well as Economic Development Manager Rice, presented to the committee. Our next meeting is Friday, October 4th, 1 o'clock here in council chambers. All are welcome to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Pindell Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me. The Public Safety Standing Committee, which is the Office of Emergency Management, Fire Department, and Police Department, we will be meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, September the 11th, here in council chambers at 4 p.m. And at that time, we're recognizing also this month, Emergency Management Month, among other things. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alderman Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next Environmental Matters Committee will be this Thursday at 3 p.m. We were going to hear discuss legislation dealing with the Forest Conservation Act. I don't have the number before me, but I'm going to have to postpone that once again because it had a significant rewrite as we try to honor and adhere to the Planning Commission recommendations. And so that hopefully will be ready by the October meeting. It's undergoing legal review right now. So the only thing we're going to be doing is a number of appointments along with the discussion with Public Works. They're presenting on their stormwater outfall assessment program.
Thank you. Alderman Gay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. The Housing and Human Welfare Committee meeting will be held on Monday, September the 16th at 6:30. I think we've generally discussed having the Office of Community Services in attendance, picking up discussion on Morris H. Blum, some of the situations going on there. And I don't believe we have legislation except for R4424, so.
Thank you. Alderman Shandemeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Who I mixed up with Alderman Savage before, sorry. While you're away. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Economic Matters will be meeting on September 18th at 6:30 p.m. We're going to go over appointments and the small business recovery downtown after the most recent bout of flooding.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, you may want to do R4424.
Okay, we're going to move. Alderman Gay has a commitment today. We are shifting the order a little bit before the public speaking starts.
This is legislative actions first reader. Resolution R4424, Fund for Housing Authority of Annapolis.
This is on first reader. If you'd like to move that, please.
So move.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Obviously I have to go, but I wanted to be here to make sure this got moved and sent to committee. In particular, the Housing and Human Welfare Committee. I'm not sure if Rules and City Government would like to have it or not, but those would be my preferences. We've already passed this in the FY24 budget. Now this is just being transferred over to the FY25 budget. And the funding with amendments, because I know there are definitely some amendments coming, will be used to assist HACA with backlog maintenance issues. I need to be a co-sponsor on this, a lead sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got a motion to second read the vote, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor on first reader say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. We're going to refer that to housing. Thank you. Okay, Mr. City Attorney.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you, Alderman Gay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is comments by the general public.
Okay, thank you. We will be limiting comments for 3 minutes today. We've got a lot of people signed up to speak, so please come forward. And I recognize in the front row, Mr. Brian Barrett, please come forward. State your full name and address. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Brian Barrett. I'm a 35-year resident of West Annapolis. And my address is 606. Oh, sorry, thank you. I'll start again. My name is Brian Barrett. I'm a 35-year resident of Annapolis, West Annapolis. We live on 607 Monterey Avenue. And I'm a future resident of the village at Providence Point on Forest Drive. As I'm sure you City Council members are aware, the construction of Providence Point, a continuing care retirement community, is being held up by yet another baseless lawsuit. This latest appeal to the Appellate Court of Maryland against the unanimous decision of the city's Planning Commission was lodged by the few individuals who head up the Crab Creek Conservancy. Now, we all recognize that this appeals process will have to run its laborious course. But meanwhile, Crab Creek Conservancy is pursuing a campaign of disinformation and lies to create distrust in your city planning process, to spread negative feelings about Providence Point, but mainly to further delay the project. Most of their disinformation concerns the environmental impact. Contrary to their allegations, National Lutheran Communities and Services, the developer, is fully committed to conserving the environment. This is enforced by the Planning Commission's 55 directives or conditions embedded in its opinion and order, and the project is well supported by well-respected local environmental experts and groups. Crab Creek Conservancy's website described the project as, and here I quote, a mega development that will wipe out all of the priority forest along Forest Drive at Crystal Spring Farm, unquote. This could not be farther from the truth. The property actually comprises 175 acres, and just 27 acres will be cleared for construction, and National Lutheran is committed to reforest 27 acres of current pasture. And there is zero impact on the 35 acres of priority forest that lying within the critical area. A conservation easement administered by the Scenic Rivers Land Trust will then be put in place, preserving 124 acres of the property from development in perpetuity. While we await the outcome of the appellate court, we are asking for a formal resolution from the City Council which endorses the decision of your Planning Commission and demonstrates your support for the project. We believe this would help inform Annapolis residents, reinforce confidence in your planning process, and dispel the misinformation put out by Crab Creek Conservancy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Peggy Randall. Yep, thank you so much, Peggy. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Peggy Randall, and I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I fully support the work we're doing. I'd like to begin by stating that during the era, the mid to late 60s, the old Fourth Ward was a cohesive, loving, and caring village where religion and love were in the forefront of values instilled generationally into the fabric of the family. My family has been members of St. Philip's Episcopal Church since it was founded in 1870. St. Philip's was a hub for recreation for youngsters, where they played basketball, had social gatherings, and most memorable to many, went to dances. It was the happening spot for recreation. St. Philip's was in the heart of the old Fourth Ward that was affected when urban renewal or Negro removal came into being and disrupted us all. In 65, 66, urban renewal dictated that the property had to be vacated and sold. It was agreed by the Episcopal Diocese of Maryland, which is the governing body for the Episcopal churches, that St. Philip's would worship at St. Anne's on Church Circle until we were able to find another location in which to worship. During this time, the culture in Annapolis was quite separate and unequal. The hierarchy at St. Anne's agreed that members of St. Philip's could worship at their church. This began a very interesting period. Unfortunately, we were not welcomed at St. Anne's, and it became very obvious as we tried to blend in. At the time, I was a preteen, between 12 and 13 years old, I had to go through confirmation classes in order to take communion on Sundays. In the classes, the girls were separate from the boys. There was one other black girl in the class with me, and the teachers would not acknowledge, include, or accept us. Though the two of us were young, we decided amongst ourselves that we would take the outline of what the religious teachings were we needed to learn in order to qualify to partake in communion. There were also issues with Sunday school. The superintendent at St. Anne's would not allow the Sunday school teachers from St. Philip's to be a part of the Sunday school. This did not sit well with the Sunday school superintendent at St. Philip's, and she made contact with Stanton Center, which is in Annapolis, and we had to have our Sunday school classes there in order for our teachers to keep track of how things were going.
Thank you.
And that they would not be mistreated.
Thank you, Ms. Randall. Thank you.
Okay.
It's 3 minutes. Everybody gets 3 minutes today. There's a lot of people signed up to speak.
Okay. Anyway.
But I just said, you can finish up. Ms. Randall, I was just saying to start to finish up, that's all. You can finish up. You can keep talking, yeah. I was just saying, wind it up, that's all.
Oh, I am.
There's a lot of people behind you.
The other behavior that struck me was when communion was served, the members at St. Anne's would usually leave or refuse to drink from the chalice, which is the big cup that you have for communion. Again, I was confused by that behavior as a 12, 13-year-old because I thought that Christians behaved differently. This made me go back and research to find out exactly what a Christian is. With God's grace and mercy, we had to endure this behavior for about 3 years, and the congregation of St. Philip's was blessed by God's grace and mercy to move us into our new church home on Bestgate Road, and we're still there. Urban renewal water.
Okay. Thank you. So just, I'm with you. I'm on your side. But there are a lot of people lined up to speak, so that's why we're keeping it to 3 minutes. Ms. Randall went over, so thank you. I'm with you 100%. Next up, signed up to speak, I have to go in order, I'm afraid, is Stephen Conn.
Where's it?
But if he doesn't show up, I'll just give you can speak for a minute.
We're all signed up. I'm the head.
Yep, you can. Sure, no worries. I'll put you down the bottom. Thank you. Next is Sarah Gross. Look, do you want to just go ahead? You're right there. You go ahead. Yeah.
Right. We turned in a list so that I would be the first speaker.
Yep.
All right?
I got but the sign-ups go first, I'm afraid, so.
Okay. All right, well, he just authorized for me to go.
But I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. Thank you. So state your full name and address for us. Thank you for being here.
Good evening. My name is Asan Powell. I live at 3521 New Sutlersville Road, Laurel, Maryland, 20724. Speak up. Gotcha.
You got the microphone on? Yep.
Bring the microphone closer. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Good evening. I am Asan Powell, and I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, i.e. CAR. We are a community-based grassroots collective advocating to repair the harms caused by urban renewal policies implemented by the city of Annapolis. The Old Fourth Ward was home to a significant population of Negro freedmen, now known as African American, with deep roots dating back to the 19th century. The Old Fourth Ward community contributed immensely to the culture, economic, and political fabric of the city of Annapolis. Their businesses, churches, and social organizations were pillars of the strength and unity. However, urban renewal projects of the 1960s and 70s, sanctioned and executed by the city of Annapolis, brought about devastating changes. Under the guise of progress, this neighborhood was demolished, fragmenting a once cohesive community. The bulldozers removed more than buildings. They erased the very essence of a community that had thrived for generations. Over the past 15 months, CAR has studied the impact of urban renewal on the Old Fourth Ward. We've held regular meetings and listening sessions with the affected displaced member group. Hearing and seeing and feeling the pain of the displaced member group as they recounted their harrowing experiences has been profoundly moving. After our first listening session, as I drove home, tears streamed down my face. In my 20-plus years of advocacy, it was the first time I witnessed grown men and women break down in tears, reliving their trauma from over 50 years ago as if it happened yesterday. The actions of the city and the city of Annapolis and the urban renewal policies did not only take away their homes, but also shattering their sense of community and belonging. The stories you will hear tonight underscore the urgent need for atonement and repair, not just for the physical loss, but the emotional and psychological scars that remain. These stories have fueled our commitment to seek justice and atonement, to restore what was lost, and to rebuild a community that honors its rich history and heritage. The city of Annapolis must take full responsibility for its cause. It is imperative that the city of Annapolis issues a formal apology to the Old Fourth Ward displaced members and their families. This apology must be accompanied by a commitment to tangible repair. The city must take immediate action to restore what was lost and to support the community by rebuilding its future by taking concrete steps. By taking concrete steps to acknowledge, redress, and foreclosure. This includes a formal apology, financial atonement, and ensuring that the voices of the Old Fourth Ward displaced member groups are central in planning and decision-making process. By supporting the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, the city of Annapolis takes ownership of their moral and civic duty to acknowledge the enduring and profound harm caused by urban renewal. Together, we can transform the pain of the past into a foundation for a brighter future. I urge the city of Annapolis to stand with CAR, these displaced member groups, and their families in this crucial work. I would like to ask for all to please raise your signs in support of our apology for the Old Fourth Ward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So next sign up is Sarah Gross. Going once. Okay. Or is that Sarah? Thank you. No, it's got to be at the podium, please. Thank you. No, you have to be at speak from the podium. Thank you. It's not. It's one person has signed up to speak. So, who's Mrs. Gross? Miss Gross. But you can stand with her, no problems.
She's able, so she's going to speak for her.
Okay. Okay, if you have a disability, then please sit down, no problems, but...
I just put her name.
Ms. Gross is the one signed up to speak now. Who if you state your full name and then your address for us, thank you.
My name is Kenya Snowden, Address is 1812 Schooner Court, Annapolis, Maryland. I'm speaking for Sarah Gross.
Okay.
Who, her address is 1138 Megas Everett Street and Eastport Terrace, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. Hello, my name is Kenya Snowden, and I'm here with my mother-in-law, Sarah Gross of Eastport Terrace here in Annapolis, Maryland, as well as my daughter, Kai Gross. We all have been residents here of Annapolis, Maryland, all of our lives. I would like to see a better relationship develop between the property managers and assistant property managers, as well as the residents of HACA, that's Housing Authority of Annapolis City. I would like to see all of us work together for the betterment of our neighbors. Since I'm speaking for Ms. Sarah, and this is her words, since I've been a resident of Housing Authority of Annapolis within the Eastport Terrace community, I've moved 4 times due to unforeseen circumstances. Unfortunately, 3 of those 4 times were due to inadequacy of the units HACA moved me into. The units were all mold infested due to a high degree, bugs or roaches, mouses of all nature took over the properties. I've seen my primary care provider quite a amount of times due to a continued cough and other symptoms. My health took an immediate decline. I've come to understand that in these situations, communication is key, but is lacking in every report to the right personnel and or chain of command. What I would like to see is change or improved in action. That is, the right people take action of ensuring that all residents, no matter what walk of life you come from, have a decent place to live, that their homes are a safe haven for her children, her amazing 14 grandchildren, such as one of them standing right here beside me, and by the and other loved ones and the thousands of other tenants. The residents who reside in HACA alongside with me. I would like to, she states that I deserve choice, I deserve action. And just because it's an income-based living, I deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, sorry? Okay, hope so. Can you go to the podium, or do you need to sit down? You got a back thing, so Odessa? All right, thank you. The full name, Odessa, and your address, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm here I'm advocating for Ms. Gross and some other tenants over in Eastport Terrace of the unfair living conditions. I mean, as Ms. Snowden stated, the rodents and the mold, it's just, unhealthy living conditions in some of these places in Housing Authority. So Ms. Sarah asked me to try to help her get another place to live. Senior housing mainly on 1 floor, a 2-bedroom. And she needs to have a 2-bedroom because she has grandchildren that come over and help her. So during this process of trying to get Housing Authority to help, you get to run around. People don't return phone calls. So finally, we spoke to a representative, and she told Ms. Sarah to go to Eastport Rec Center to pick up a form to carry to her doctor. Now, she doesn't have transportation, so I'm helping her, right? So I carry the form to the doctor's office, and then when I go pick it up, there was nothing on the form for the doctor to fill out. So then we were told to go back, bring the form back on the Thursday. We go there, ring the doorbell, nobody answers, nobody comes to the door. So this whole process of trying to get housing for, you know, especially a senior who's disabled, it's just a lot of runaround. Her residence, she's been moved around, I don't know how many times, at least 3 or 4 times that I know of, because of mold. You know, and rodents, like Ms. Snowden said, and it's just unhealthy living. And she, you know, like right now, I'm still waiting for phone calls or correspondence back from Hacker so that she can be interviewed. So this form was supposed to have been filled out. She doesn't know how to fill it out. I mean, you know, so it says on here that she can get help through housing, through Hacker. Well, when I called the property manager and asked for help for her, she said she doesn't do things like this. That's not her job. So the main point that I'm trying to make tonight is that we need to try to figure out what's going on with Housing Authority, why these people are living in these kind of conditions, and why they can't get help and support. And she needs senior housing. She needs to be on one floor. You see that she's disabled. Her doctor has already filled out the proper form, but still we haven't heard back from Hacker. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, I just want to make one thing. I came here last month for a meeting because on your website it says second Monday of every month. Well, you know, it doesn't say you close on August. So, you know, like, it should state on there that, you know, exception August. That's all I'm just saying.
Thank you, thank you. Next up, Anjo, I think it's Anjo Duenas. Sorry, thank you. Sorry about that, I apologize. Please correct me.
That's okay. My name is Argo Duenas.
Sorry, Argo.
That's okay.
Yeah.
My name is Argo Duenas. My address is 1050 Eaglewood Road, Annapolis, Maryland. I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work. I'm 75 years old. Annapolis will be my final resting place. This is my birthplace, the home and land of my ancestors and those who built this historic, beautiful capital, Annapolis. My name is Argo. I'm a resident of the city of Annapolis, a native Annapolitan, and a living descendant of the old Fourth Ward. I'm also a former business owner of 40 years, and I'm a United States Army veteran. I'm honored to be here to share my story of how urban renewal directly impacted my family. The old Fourth Ward was a thriving, self-sufficient community filled with love, pride, and unity. We had small businesses, professional services, home ownership, generational wealth. Our community was rich with social and cultural life, and our money circulated back into the community, much like Little Harlem and Black Wall Street. Historic figures like Dr. Martin Luther King Sr., Rosa Parks, Alex Haley, and Oprah Winfrey visited our beloved historic First Baptist Church on West Washington Street where I lived. Today, I'm standing on the shoulders of my ancestors who worked hard here at the Naval Academy to purchase a home and build a better life and future for us. They paid their mortgage off, and life was good. We had a wonderful, wonderful community. But all that changed when urban renewal came. Not only were our homes and businesses confiscated by the local government here and being replaced with garages and government buildings, but our community was decimated. It was rocked, and it was also shocked by the assassination of Dr. King. Can you imagine going through all of this, doing urban renewal? My daughter was born January the 5th, 1968. Dr. King was assassinated April the 4th, 1968. Please reflect for a moment and imagine what our families and community endured: fear, civil unrest, psychological trauma, stress, and uncertainty. Urban renewal displaced our families, destroyed our economic base, political power, will, and influence, and wiped out generational wealth. My grandfather was forced into debt, and we couldn't buy another home. Only a few weeks after we moved to a privately housing complex located on the fringes of Annapolis, my grandmother passed away. Now that was devastating. That was very devastating. The loss of my grandmother, the displacement from families, services, lack of transportation, and the enduring psychological trauma and stress were devastating to our families and the families of the old Fourth Ward. I'm still healing today from that. Despite all of this, we persevered. Today, my family includes ministers, educators, business owners, healthcare professionals, activists, and a Maryland State delegate. Today, the old Fourth Ward is here today because we want to be seen and we want to be heard. And we are committed to this historic movement to right the wrong and the harm that was done to our ancestors, the living descendants, and the old Fourth Ward. The time is now. And I'm going to say it again. The time is now. Urban renewal heard us. We support the resolution for an apology for the old Fourth Ward. We must preserve our history, our legacy, and rebuild generational wealth for our future generations. My time is up, and I thank you for yours. I'm a member of the Coalition of Atonement for Repair, and I support this work.
All right, well, it's my honor to bring up an Annapolis legend, Eliza May Robinson. Please come to the front table. Ms. Robinson, you can sit. You could sit if you like. You could sit here if you want.
Thank you for the privilege to allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Eliza May Robinson. I was born on Calvert Street 92 years ago. Across the street from the Arundel Center and on the site where state office buildings now stand. My family was deeply impacted by urban renewal, which also destroyed the community. Many families suffered much hardship. When it was time to move my family's plans fell through. The Housing Authority put my family up for 3 months, after which a house became available on Pleasant Street. My family was caused much distress and anxiety, not only for the loss of their home, but the loss of camaraderie, of family, friends, and a wholesome community. So the old Fourth Ward is not what it used to be. Many long years ago, we had our own of everything white folks had and more. We had our barber shops, beauty shops, and even had a store on Old Spa Road. And for a night out on the Old Town Ward, we'd shift the nightclub mood. We had Washington Hotel, Wright's Hotel, Cozy Cabin, and Susie's Tea Room. Man, we had much fun in all these spots, and everything was grand. The American Legion and the Elks Club, 2 private spots. We did not have all we should have, but we had a lot. Our churches spread across the town. Our people served God well, with Sunday school, Bible studies, and church services were swell. So we don't forget from whence we've come. It's been a long, long way, and all praise is due to God from then until today. Thank you.
Next up is Renitra Anderson. Thank you, Ms. Robinson.
Hello, my name is Renitra Anderson. I live at 51 Clay Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. I am a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work. If my mother, Deborah Johnson, was living, she would be standing at this podium right now before you. But because she is no longer here, it's my responsibility to stand in the gap for my ancestors who were affected by urban renewal/urban removal in the Old Fourth Ward, a thriving African-American community with various businesses, home ownership, and a sense of love that was unmatched. Unfortunately, I didn't get to experience those things because someone decided that the dynamics of the once thriving community should change. What I did experience was a mother who loved her community so much that when it was talked about getting rid of the public housing portion of this community, she fought She fought for equal housing for her neighbors and herself. I believe that part of the reason for her fight was because of her vivid memories of growing up in the Old Fourth Ward. She didn't want to lose her community again. The torch has been passed down to me, and I will stand up for what is right. The time to right the wrongs is now. We won't stop until we get what we rightfully deserve. I would like for my ancestors who grew up in that area to know that I will continue to fight for the legacy of our family in the Old Fourth Ward. I am Old Fourth Ward, the new generation, and I approve this message.
Next up is Dana Baylor.
My name is Dana Baylor. I used to reside at 59 Calvert Street, which is now gone. Because of urban renewal stole my security, stole my community, and stole my wealth. My community that stole from me was the Fourth Ward, everything from Calvert Street over to Clay Street to Adams Park Elementary School. They stole my education from me because they removed my family from where I lived, where I was attending Bates Junior High School, where I was being taught by a black minority of teachers. At that time, in 1971, the number of students and the number of faculty that were at that school was 95% black. So I was being taught by a black culture, but they were removing me into a white culture. I refused to allow that to happen. Despite them moving me into Eastport, I walked to school. They provided me with no transportation of any kind. I made sure that I continued my education until I graduated from Bates Junior High School to go to Annapolis Senior High School. So, and also talking about my security, I knew the people in the neighborhood. We always gathered, we always had community programs or community things going on. Stanton Center was our main focus area. But once they removed me from that, Stanton Center became nothing to me again because I had no access to get to those particular places when things were going on. Once again, talking about my security, when they removed my mom from that area, now they made a problem for my mom to get to work. So what she had to do was try to find some type of transportation to get back and forth into Annapolis so she could do her job. So I want you to know that urban renewal, definitely the Annapolis urban renewal definitely hurt a lot of folks in these communities. I lost some friends, but in my heart, I kept them there because I know one day I will see them again. So thank you for listening to what I had to say. I hope that you and the council will be able to do and take into account on what has happened to these communities, these people that lived in that fourth ward. And it was not easy for what happened to those in the fourth ward. Have a nice day.
Next up is Dennis Lindenhall. Denise, sorry, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Denise Lindenhall, current resident of Annapolis at 1915 Town Center Boulevard, and hoping to move to the village
Speak into the mic.
at Providence Point. Contrary to the misinformation circulated by Crab Creek Conservancy, the development of Providence Point will maintain the city's forest area. The City Council should also be aware of the substantial financial and social benefits that will accrue to the city from Providence Point. During the 24-month construction period, at least 200 new construction jobs will be created. This represents some $28 million in salaries added to the city's economy. When Providence Point is completed and up and running, it will employ around 200 staff and workers across a wide range of services and skills. And along with the 500 senior residents, they will be contributing to the Annapolis economy. Providence Point is currently estimated to provide property taxes of around $2.2 million per year payable to the city. A majority of our senior residents have made Annapolis or Anne Arundel County their home for many years and will now have a well-cared-for life through their old years. Providence Point will have 246 apartments and cottages for the independent living and 32 suites for assisted living, nursing, and memory care. This will help lighten the load on already stretched local facilities for seniors in need of assisted and nursing care. National Lutheran Communities anticipates making some of these nursing care suites available to outside Annapolis patients in the early years while they still have room. We believe that a City Council resolution confirming your support for the village at Providence Point will give Annapolis residents confidence in the Planning Commission's decision. It will allay the suspicion and controversy that Crab Creek Conservancy has encouraged by their continued criticism and false representation. Respectfully, we thank you very much. And I would like just simply to recognize Mr. Lindenhall, who's a veteran of 2 wars, now disabled, and he is in need of that kind of care. Respectfully, we thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, Robert Hector. I saw Robert in here somewhere. Robert Hector. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Full name and address. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Robert Hector III, 1505 Bay Ridge Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland. My name is Robert Hector III, 1505 Bay Ridge Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland. Shortly after exiting the military in 1997, the green light is on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the green light is on. Shortly after exiting the military in 1997, I moved to Annapolis. I joined First Baptist Church, where I'm a proud member. I served the community through my job, my employment here in Annapolis. But I've recently learned of a no confidence vote against our chief of police. In 2019, there was a shooting on Clay Street. The young man died. The community members got together and had a meeting at my church. And I charged Chief Jackson with cleaning up Clay Street. And he did that. Annapolis Police Department, in my view, is one of the most diverse departments in the United States of America. And I am totally against a no confidence vote because of him bringing his command staff down from Baltimore. When I was in the military and I was promoted to higher grades, I brought my command staff to every post I went. I helped liberate Kuwait with my command staff. I got the job done. And Chief Jackson has done an excellent job since he's been here in Annapolis, and I really think it's unjust. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Next up, Anna Benowing. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Full name and address.
Anna Benoweg. I'm here on behalf of the Naptown Philharmonic Orchestra, 801 Chase Street, Annapolis, 21401, Maryland Hall. I fully recognize my announcement here is of an entirely different tone, so I'll help with a little levity, I hope. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Anna Benoweg. I am the music director and conductor of the Naptown Philharmonic Orchestra. For the last 20 years, we were known as the London Town Symphony Orchestra, but last May, we changed our name, our look, and our program emphasis to more closely reflect our commitment to this community. We adopted Annapolis's Naptown moniker to reinforce our connection with this wonderful town and the surrounding area, and frankly, to signal that orchestral music can be fun, as is Naptown. Mr. Mayor, we're sorry you were not able to attend that concert, but thank you for sending Brian Callahan to represent your office. His talk, along with the presence of the Naptown Brass Band, made our big announcement even more impactful and, yes, fun. Our first concert under our new name will be held on Saturday, September 21st at Maryland Hall. We are honored to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with our concert titled Unity and Resilience. In addition to presenting classics by Rimsky-Korsakov and Tchaikovsky, we will feature 5 pieces that highlight the rich musical contributions of composers from Mexico, Cuba, and Argentina, to include live tango dancers for Piazzolla's Libertango. In October, we will present an annual Halloween Spooktacular designed to introduce kids to the world of orchestral music with fun and familiar tunes and a costume contest for all ages. In February, we will perform Broadway classics. In April, music to celebrate our planet during Earth Month. And in June, a family-friendly sports-themed concert, Let's Play Ball. The Naptown Philharmonic's members include professionals, military musicians, private and public school teachers, extraordinary amateurs, and music students throughout the county. The orchestra reaches the community through various chamber recitals and holds an annual statewide concerto competition for accomplished high school members. As part of our mission, the Naptown Philharmonic is committed to bringing quality symphonic music to students throughout the region and are admitted to our concerts for free. General admission tickets are just $25. So from one Naptown organization to another, we invite you and the entire community to join us on September 21st at Maryland Hall for an evening of lively, spirited, and fun music. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up is Terry Tanner.
Hello, good evening. My name is Terry Tanner. My address is 40 Pleasant Street, Annapolis, Maryland. I'm here in regards to the Morris H. Blum high-rise. Mr. Gay has left, but I want to publicly thank him for him listening to me, even though we're not his ward. When I call him, I get a response. I've spoken to Ms. O'Neill several times. My first time was July the 23rd, in regards to the emergency medical response team getting stuck on the elevator during a medical emergency to get my mom. I spoke with her. She promised to get back to me. Well, you know when I heard from her? Was again on September the 3rd when I reached out to her when emergency personnel was at that building for over 2 hours assisting residents up to their apartments. It's very appalling for me to sit there and watch a senior citizen crawl up the stairs to get to their apartment, on their hands and feet, crawl up the stairs. I don't know who allowed them to get permits to renovate this building with asbestos removal, all of this construction, when you have vulnerable, fragile adults living there. My mother is 92 years old. She should not have to live in fear of not coming out to her unit, getting stuck on the elevator, and being stuck in her unit, or leaving and can't get back upstairs and can't go back to the comfort of her home, has to go somewhere else and stay. At 92 years old, she paid her rent faithfully, on time. None of those adults should be living in those conditions. I have spoken to Mr. Simmons the same night. I've spoken to Mr. Brian Callahan, who promised to get back in touch with me after he speak to you, Mayor Buckley. Haven't heard from him yet. I've had it. I need something done immediately. You are putting the safety, health, and well-being of these vulnerable, fragile adults at risk. Not only that, you're putting your city residents at risk when the fire truck has to sit there for 2 hours, putting other citizens of this city at risk in case of an emergency. Something has to be done, and done now. And I can tell you this, Ms. O'Neill, this is a promise and not a threat. If you don't get on your post, we will remember you at election time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tanner. That $56 million renovation needs to be done better. Thank you very much. Next up is Michael Brown.
Good evening. Honor to all whom honor is due. My name is Michael Brown. I live at 740 Foxtail Drive in Cambridge, Maryland. My entire family grew up in the city of Annapolis. My parents were victims of urban removal. I don't think it's clearly understood what actually happened to us. When I say my family owned 3 businesses in the 4th Ward. The house that I grew up in was a historic house. My aunt, Ellen Brown Parker, she was the first Black and the first female mortician in the state of Maryland. That house was her funeral parlor. It just seems like the history, the bad thing about urban removal was that it broke down the community. It killed the drum. See, it's not just because the houses are gone. But there's so many people in the audience today that I know, but I don't know their children. I don't know their grandchildren. When we were in the ward, all adults corrected everybody's children. And what happened was the camaraderie of loving each other and holding on to each other, and the village that raised everybody got dispersed. And when that happened, now everybody want to complain about the disrespect. It was a setup. It was as bad as when we were taken from Africa and robbed of our heritage. It's the same thing, and it happened over again, but it happened in a nice community. The thing that we're missing is this was done. My brother, who's in the back, he's 88 years old. He had businesses in the community. The lie was that when they took the homes, that the businesses would have the opportunity to have first dibs in the new shopping center. Tell me, where is the new shopping center? It's a parking lot. They robbed us of paradise. We didn't have mortgages. We were homeowners. And to be thrown out, and for seniors to have mortgages dropped on them at senior age, and everybody thinks everything's okay and nothing should be done about that. We need it fixed, and we need it now. I want to say before I sit down, the biggest thing that's missing, I introduced my son back there, who's 25, to his cousin that he played with as a little baby. And he hasn't seen her. He didn't know her. And that's what happened. That's what you robbed us of. That's what you took from us. And reparations, you can't give us enough. But somebody needs to do something. Somebody needs to be accountable. Not only that, when my parents had to move, that's a lot of toll on seniors. That's when you have to move and it won't, I mean, the words don't come. But the hard part is they robbed us of community. They robbed us of community. We didn't have to go up to Farmers National if we needed a couple $100. You could borrow it in the community. We didn't have to go up West Street to buy nothing. You could buy it in the community. I knew this one knew this one, that one knew that one, and we locked arms. When somebody died, everybody knew who died, and everybody was there to help. But when we were dispersed, the drum was killed. I can't even tell you all that it's done. But I'll say this much. It was unfair. And it doesn't need to be rubbed under the carpet. Say it again. It was illegal. And somebody needs to do something.
Thank you.
Fix it now. I'm finished.
All right. Okay, thank you. Next, it's my privilege to introduce Alderman Cynthia Carter. Please come forward.
Well, first I give honor to God and all of those who represent us, all of those who are sitting before us right now, who really hold the purse string that's needed for this move that we'll be coming back on you for. My name is Cynthia Abney Carter. My address is 965 Bentry Way, Annapolis 21401. I lived and grew up here in this 4th Ward. And I have to say here because this was as close to 4th Ward as it could get. I went there, came there, I was 6 months old when my parents got their first residence in College Creek Terrace. I watched and served in that community for a number of years. I saw how the community was community. My grandparents owned a house over on Clay Street. They built there from Larkin Street after they got a little money from Farmers National Bank to rebuild. But if they eventually lost it. But the urban renewal divided because the 3 and 4 generations that lived in homes, we were renters after my parents moved out of my grandparents' house. But we were renters. There was a lot of renters there. But there were 3 and 4 generations in a household. Everybody knew everybody there, but when the urban renewal and removal came in, it dispersed people. The grandparents was living one place, the auntie was living in another place, the children were with the parents in another place. And this happened all over. When I came back home after moving to New York and come back and see how things had just blew out of place, I could not believe it. I had to go all over trying to find folks. But just to let you know, after it was deemed illegal by the federal government that the urban renewal was illegal, nothing could be done. We didn't know where to go and how to approach it. But thank God to Argo, she was persistent, Argo Duenas, to dig into this thing, to attack it as we need to bring reparation, to bring, redeem what had been, what it was deemed illegal, but to make it right to the families. Not so much the families that were actually removed, the older ones, but those who are coming up, the descendants who are suffering or have suffered from the results of this. But we want you to look into it, be fair, to acknowledge that the apology is necessary, and to carry out what the next step is going to be. I appreciate your listening, your compassion, and the sharing, and having shared some of the stories that have been told. There are some real deep ones, but I witnessed a lot of it. After 85 years, I've seen more than a lot of them have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Linda Mundy.
My name is Linda Mundy. I live at 55 Primrose Hill Lane, Annapolis, Maryland. I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work. When I moved to the Annapolis area in 1998, I saw the city as a tourist. I was raised in Prince George's County, and my family and I often enjoyed the downtown waterfront restaurants, the cobblestone streets, and the Maritime charm. But my perspective changed when I began to volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club. In Bywater, I witnessed children thriving in their safe space of the club as their families and communities struggled for survival. I learned that at that time, Annapolis had more public and subsidized housing per capita than any city of its size in the country. A result of the city's intentional segregation and marginalization. At the club, I began to see the inequities of this city. I decided to stop being a tourist and start to show up as a community member. When I heard about the creation of this movement, I offered my support. After a listening session with the Old Fourth Ward diaspora, the elders that you've heard from today, I can tell you that I spent several days trying to digest what I had heard. The trauma in that room that described the destruction of generational wealth and political influence, family separation, and displacement was overwhelming, and it has impacted my soul forever. Yet, the meeting ended with a car member, Mr. Michael Brown, hopefully singing, "A change is gonna come." Over the years, I have supported local groups and grassroots leaders that try to address issues and cycles that we've heard from today in real time, and that are clearly connected to the devastation of urban renewal. Their so-called wins never seem to have a lasting impact. Now I understand. If the city does not commit to healing the past harms for urban renewal and take accountability for repair with an apology and action, nothing will change. In 2021, 50-plus years after the urban renewal of the Old Fourth Ward, Alderwoman Ellie Turney took a first step by sponsoring a vote to repeal the city's exclusionary urban renewal code. She promised an apology would follow. Guess what? This still has not happened. The time for an apology and action is now. The city needs repair and healing. We need solutions, accountability, and commitment. I will continue to show up for this apology and commitment to repair. Will you? I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work.
We're going to give you that courtesy.
I forgot to say I support the works of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair. Thank you.
And so do we. Reynard Baylor. Reynard, sorry. I'm from Australia, come on.
It ain't about me. But I am a proud member of the Coalition for Atonement, Repair, and I dutifully support this effort. The Annapolis Urban Renewal Evil Project displaced, deceived, and brought death to our community. Desperate time, desperate treatment, and desperate impact. These are the things that accumulate in my mind that I perseverate and ruminate throughout the corners of my mind. What was lost in the Old Fourth Ward was our Tulsa, was our economic enclave. Yes. Before attending this meeting tonight, I walked downtown and I could see no relevance to us. That's right. Not none. And I saw a bunch of novelty with regards to a city for tourism. But we lived here. Yes. We built an economy here. Yes. In the Old Fourth Ward, as a result of segregation, our rights as citizens was negated when they brought forth that scheme of urban renewal. I learned that there was an appearance of collusion. There is a case law on the part of the state of Maryland and Annapolis where they colluded to bring about the consolidation of a lot that my grandparents bought in 1937, that my mother was stressed out of eminent domain, forced her to consent to move to a place that did not accommodate her antique dining room set. It was under duress that we had to leave the center of the city. When you're in the center of a city like Annapolis, you know, Annapolis is a city that has 3 functional governments within it. It has the United States Naval Academy. The intensity of the 7.2 square miles in this city dictates economics. Dictates economics. It means that if you own a piece of this, it is valuable beyond words that you could ever speak of, and to be robbed. That's what we were. We were pushed out. They took us away from the center of the city. And if you know anything about real estate and know about location, you know that being in the center, that's where the heart is. Now, what is interesting, as I say, it's our government use tactics such as redlining to reduce the value of where it was that we were for 60 to 70 years. So it was a scheme of planned obsolescence. So it is the collusion of, and I can prove it by what was done in that particular court case. They consolidated our lots, and then they brought forth 45 Calvert Street, and with the audacity to have the Anne Arundel County State Assessment Office in there. Man, you're talking about trauma? I worked across the street from where it was I used to live. So I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that you have dispersed our people to the periphery of the city with no means of production in order to be able to sustain yourself here. By having the ability that they took from us, if we had that lot in the center of the city, we would have sustainability. We would have generational wealth based and predicated on how valuable, they say, historic Annapolis is.
Thank you, Mr. Baylor. That's been 4 minutes. Thank you. Next up, Peggy Randall. Already gone? Okay, thank you. We might not have got her down. Bruce Baylor.
Good evening. My name is Bruce Baylor. I'm originally lived at 59 Calvert Street, across from the Arundel Center that used to be the jail. This building right here used to be the Watch House, the city police department. This is our roots. We were born and raised in the 4th Ward. The name Naptown came from us. The black people made Naptown for what it is. We were the entertainers of the East Coast. All the entertainers that came in this country and in Maryland came from everywhere you can imagine, from James Brown to Otis Redding to Marvelette, you name them, they were here. We had all the vibrant stores. We had restaurants. We had the biggest movie theater you could imagine. We also had barbershops, restaurants, hairdressers. We had Miss Tudnan that had her own fruit store. You go downstairs and get vegetables. You know, we was close. We had every year, we could always count to the fact that we had a block party. That was automatic. Family comes together and they have a party. We love one another. We stuck by one another. There was love in this whole community. We lost that. When urban renewal came, I don't know half the people, I don't even see no more. I don't know who they are. But one time I knew everybody was in the block. Now I don't know nobody. We are loving people. We were family raised to love one another. And I say to you, help us. Fix it. Make it better. Because we deserve that the things we have went through. Our grandparents made it possible. We had our own home. We got to go on the reservation. We call housing authorities reservations. Because we lost everything we had because we had to go somewhere else to pay rent when we already had our home. So I'm saying to make it short and simple, we had families. Yes. We stuck together. And I say to you, please think about it. We need help. We want to fix it. We want what's to do to us. And thank you.
Next up, Crawford McPherson.
Good evening.
How you doing? Hi.
My name is Crawford McPherson. I live at 608 Severn Island Court in Annapolis, Maryland, but I'm formerly from 75 Northwest Street, right around the corner. I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, a proud member, and I support the work that they do. I'm here for the 4th Ward because today I came here and I came from down River Shore. Anybody in here know where River Shore is? Okay, that's at the end of Northwest Street. I parked my car. It's just a small walk from here, a few blocks. But I walked from there to come here. And I passed so many places that used to be homes. A lot of the people are in this room who I passed where they used to live. Some Fords in this room, stand up, please. I passed their home as soon as I crossed West Washington Street. They lived on the corner. I passed the Knights' home. Is there any Knights in the building? The Craven was here. Miss Bessie Knight, they lived on Northwest Street. They're gone. I passed the Savoy home. I don't know if any Savoys are here. I come down. Of course, I know the Alsers are here. Please stand up, Alsers. I also passed where I used to live at 75 Northwest Street. Next door to that was the Elks Club, where I used to have to go get my father because he'd be in there playing cards on the regular. But all of that was in the 4th Ward that we don't have anymore. I get to the corner, if I look to the right, the gentleman who just stood there, Bruce Baylor, I'd have been looking at his house. If I went a little further around the corner, I'd have been looking at Mr. Brown's house who spoke earlier. I know all these people know me, and what happened to us in the 4th Ward is not right, and it's time to fix it. That's all I got. And Dixie Hotel, and I also want to mention that I am a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work. Thank you.
Next up, Scotty Preston.
Good evening, Mayor Buckley and councilors. Thank you for the opportunity to, usually being quiet is not usually happen in my case. So let's make this work. Is that better?
Great.
Okay.
And address, please. Thank you, Scotty.
Scott Preston, 602 Hammonds Lane, Brooklyn Park, Maryland, 21225.
Thank you.
I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work. Our community had a doctor, dentist, restaurants, realtor, bail bondsman, a jail, nightclubs, tea rooms, rooming houses, schools, churches, entrepreneurs, hardworking souls, many of whom worked for the Naval Academy, the government, the telephone company, etc. Everyone had their grind, their gig, their side hustle. It was community. Yes. Philip Brown's book, The Other Annapolis, is a pictorial primer that depicts the thriving community the Fourth Ward was in its heyday, and it records the breadth of lifeways and organizations that were the glue that held it together. You'll find my grandparents in it. My maternal grandparents, Frederick Mason and Martha Chin Alsop, or Mason and Peggy, were pillars in our community, and there were many pillars. Mason was born to Julia and Mac Alsop at 210 Clay Street. He and his sister Henrietta were two of the youngest of 13 children born there. Needless to say, I have a slew of cousins. Some of them happen to be here. And Aunt Hen remained at 210 Clay Street until she was in her 90s, but became feeble and moved in with my mom, where she lived until the tender age of 99. Mason met Peggy, a Massachusetts girl who came to Maryland to teach after graduating from DC teacher's minor at the age of 19. Her first jobs were in two-room schoolhouses, including Freetown and Galesville, where some of her students were older than she was. She would eventually teach at Stanton School, where she met some of her best friends. They met, married, and lived in 210 Clay Street with Mason's parents and worked until they could purchase 180 Clay Street, where I would come to live many years later from DC with my mom and siblings, in time to start second grade at Adams Park Elementary School, which was right around the corner and where my grandmother Peggy was teaching by that time. My grandparents sent all three of their children to college in the 50s, which was quite a feat. Mason was on the front line of their entrepreneurial accomplishments, while Peggy towed the line until she was 90. Uh-oh, I lost track. 90 in the Anne Arundel County public school system. Mason put Aunt Hen, who lived at 210 Clay Street, in her penny candy store across the street on the corner of Clay and Rideout Street, and kept it stocked. It was what you'd call today a convenience store. Kerosene, cigarettes, bread, milk, sodas, snacks, etc. He cooked and managed their also seafood restaurant on the corner of Calvert and Northwest Washington's, now the Arundel Center, where the whole family would work after school to sustain it. They had rooms above Alsop's restaurant where people of color could stay, people who were wont to find a safe place when traveling, including sailors docked in town. Think Green Book. He managed an apartment building they owned off Calvert Street in Hardesty Court, where the parking lot stands today. They paved Paradise and put up a parking lot. You know that story. They already started commercial property. They'd already started the commercial property on West Street, which I believe the undervalued eminent domain payout went towards its completion. Eventually, the threat and ultimate untimely implementation of eminent domain tore the community to shreds and displaced the heart of our beloved home township. While there is so much more to tell, I will accept that I have probably surpassed 3 minutes. I foresaw that when I was writing this. I'll finish with the struggle was real and funding sources they once had to continue their dreams was ripped from them. The continued lessons I might have learned from my grandfather were gone. The restaurant where I pretended I was on stage performing for an appreciative make-believe audience was gone. The opportunity to create their envisioned larger home by combining 180 Clay and the newly acquired 182 Clay was gone. Significant sources of income were gone. When Mom got on her feet, we moved to Newtown 22, which exemplifies the very story you're hearing out here. There are still 3 Alsop legacy properties on Clay Street, 1 fully rehabbed and the remaining 2 in need of repair. I am a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work.
Thank you. Next up, Bernadette Pulley.
fix mine. Good evening. My name is Bernadette Pulley Pruitt, and I stand before you today in support of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair and in support of the resolution for an apology for the Old Fourth Ward. I'm a proud descendant of this historic community. My roots run deep and my memories are vivid. My mother, Mildred Harris, was born in Skidmore, a Black community near St. Margaret's just west of the Bay Bridge. She was a descendant of the Calvert, Colberts, and Harris families. She was the great-granddaughter of enslaved Timothy Harris, who was the son of Horatio Rideout. At just 16, my mother moved to Annapolis and later to New York, working for a family there before returning to Annapolis, where she made her mark. In the late 40s and into the 50s, under Mid-City Cab, my mother owned and operated her own taxi, a remarkable achievement for a Black woman of her time. Later in the 70s, she had a cab with Blue Star, the Blue Star Cab Company. In the mid-40s, at the age of 29, she purchased a house at 68 Clay Street, a significant accomplishment given a Black woman's challenge in securing property. My mother loved her home and her community and remained there until her passing. As a child and a teenager growing up, the Old Fourth Ward was a vibrant neighborhood where I felt secure. And to me, everything we needed was within walking distance. I remember Miss Alice and Mr. Sugar Snowball Stand, Rice's, Miss Henny's, of course, First Baptist Church in Asbury, and once going to the Old Star Theater. I recall the Y, the beauty shops of Miss Walker, Mr. McKinney, the barber shops of Mr. Queen and the Chambers. The old Safeway on Calvert and Clay Streets is where we would shop, and the ladies only wanted and would wait for Frankie to take their groceries home. There was Richmond's drugstore, Little Tavern, the old bus station, and High's, where we used to go before church on Sundays to get candy. These are only a few places that were cornerstones in our community. Then came urban renewal. While my family wasn't physically displaced, the emotional and psychological toll was heavy. The neighborhood changed. What was once a close-knit community became abruptly different, leaving a void in me and many others. There was a separation of family and friends to places where there was no public transportation. Constantly seeing sight of the torn down buildings left sadness, confusion, abandonment, and an emptiness within me. Those left feelings are now parking garages and government buildings. The effects of urban renewal still resonates within us and within the Old Fourth Ward today in spite of its now official historic district designation. My final thought is there can be no true reconciliation without reparations. And I wholeheartedly support Carr and the resolution for an apology for the Old Fourth Ward. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Next up is Linda Davis.
My name is Linda Davis, 215 Coronet Drive, Linthicum, Maryland. I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work. There is an expression for people to bloom where we are planted. That's right. Bloom where we are planted. In May 1969, while the residents of the Old Fourth Ward were being uprooted from their communities and planted in bad soil without access to resources and opportunities, my family was being planted in good soil with access to resources and opportunities. Guess which community blossomed? Many might think that the communities blossomed or wilted because of the individuals, This is far from the truth. Like plants, communities wilt when they are uprooted from good soil and planted in bad soil, which is what happened to the Old Fourth Ward. As we have heard in testimony after testimony tonight, the Old Fourth Ward was a thriving, self-sufficient community that was uprooted and placed in bad soil. In the public housing that you heard testimony about tonight. That's right. After being displaced, the residents experienced root shock, a term coined by Dr. Mindy Fullilove in a book of the same name. Staying with the metaphor of roots, Bray Barker, author of Rooted, The American Legacy of Land Theft and the Modern Movement for Black Land Ownership, said, quote, "Systems of oppression evolve when not dismantled from the roots," unquote. To dismantle the oppression, we must get to the roots. The first steps in this process are an acknowledgement of the oppression and an apology for it and action to fix it. I hope you take these steps soon. I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work. Thank you.
Next up, Elder Charles, my friend, how you doing?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work. Pain. Does anybody know what pain is? P-A-I-N, pain. My name is Elder Charles James Sr. I was born and raised in the historic Old Fourth Ward in the capital city of Annapolis, Maryland. I'm a United States veteran of more than 22 years that I serve proudly. I am 71 years old, and let me make this crystal clear. I still have lasting effects from urban renewal of the 1960s. I was around 12 or 13 years old when this so-called urban renewal occurred. Those of us that lived in the Fourth Ward knew it was called urban removal. Yes. Urban removal. That's what they did to us. This action removed our families, friends, businesses, and our lifestyle of unity that we were living. To put it plain and in simple words, urban renewal or urban removal hurt us. Yes. And I still hurt today. Yes. I still hurt today. Yes. I'm 71 years old and I still hurt today. Fix it. And for me, the action of 1960s still affects me and many, many others that's in this room today. Yes. The Old Fourth Ward and its descendants suffered through the lasting effects of traumatic displacements of family, friends, separated from their roots during the national urban renewal movement that began in the 1960s. Following the Maryland legislative state mandates, Annapolis Urban Renewal Authority was established to identify, listen to this, the blighted and slum dwellings to make way for what was termed municipal progress, garages. Garages. Areas identified as blighted and slum homes and businesses of both African and Jewish Americans, west of Church Circle, west of Church Circle to include the Old Fourth Ward. Let me remind you something. These were our homes and businesses. We thrived there. Our families lived there. We didn't rely on anybody except our own. Businesses such as Raymond's Corner Store, Susie's Tea Room, the Star Theater, which was the only black theater that we could go to. That's right. St. Philip's Church, Reese's Funeral Home and Mortuary, Miss Henny Penny's store, Miss Catherine Gray's Crab Cakes, and many other places, many other places, the Dixie Hotel, Washington Hotel, that were taken from us. They were near and dear to us. And these things were taken from us. These businesses and these homes were taken from us. That's what was done to us, illegally. That's right. I'm a member of the Coalition for Atonement and Repair, and I support this work.
All right, that is the end of the list. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and speak? Thank you.
Oh, no, after you.
It's 9 o'clock, so it's 3 minutes, please.
My name's Godfrey Phelps. I live at 701 Glenwood Street. The slave ship never left Annapolis. You condone, you practice what you condone. And I'm talking to every one of you sitting up there. I done came before you several times talking about the stolen money by those that you put in place in public housing. It's time to get rid of these daggone thieves. Morris H. Bloom, which is supposed to be under reconstruction, is a whorehouse. A whorehouse. You hear what I'm saying to you?
I don't think...
That's what it is.
Please, not that language.
Mold and asbestos is throughout the building. They have violated OSHA law twice, on the 6th and 5th floor and on the 4th floor. First violation is $75,000 fine. Second violation is $150,000 fine. I've called OSHA twice. Now this second time, I'm gonna see what they're gonna do. Because TCB is no more than a patsy or cheap pawn for the mayor. They use fake contracts, using coercive techniques in getting the residents to sign. That's illegal in any court of law. Illegal. That's what I'm talking about. So there is no lease agreement technically, and they don't give out no receipts when you pay your money. That's against state law. And something need to be done about it. And I'm gonna talk to Carmel O'Neill, who's supposed to be abreast to everything that's going on, ain't doing nothing. I've been to the police station. I had the public defender office working with the state's attorney's office. I done dealt with the crooked judges here in Annapolis. Even the thug that's head of the Supreme Court of Maryland lying like two French fries because they try to force me to forfeit my discovery rights. I know the law. That's why I study RICO, dealing with crooked judges, lawyers, and politicians. And that's what you are. That's what you are, because you are accountable for that building. That building belongs to the city of Annapolis. It don't belong to no hacker.
That's 3 minutes.
And your secretary kept lying to me, trying to convince me that it belongs to hacker. Hacker's no more than a rotating board. And your attorney up there claimed he was going to investigate.
Thank you.
He ain't investigating nothing.
Thank you.
And I'm holding all of you accountable. I'm going to see you in federal court.
Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to share a few words. I'm Terrell Freemanell. I live at 5 Rideout Street in Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. I'm fortunate to be able to buy my way back into the historic area of my family, the Blackstone family, Halls, Hawkins, you know, we all cousins around here, Browns, and so forth and so on. The few moments that I have with you do not compare to the stories that we have shared with each other tonight. The wounds that have not fully healed, some wounds have been reopened. Action and right action is what needs to manifest. I stand in front of these generations that continue to do their part by showing up, by staying organized, by staying focused, by making sure words get to this generation that has been dispersed, that has been pulled away from each other. They get past the trauma and the drama, and they say with that smile, or they bring that information pack to hold us together. So I trust that I will be working with some of you to resolve some of the things that, the grievous things that have been described by these elders that are still being experienced right now. We heard it from one, and I live right around the corner. We must do something about this. I'm up for the challenge and I'm up for the charge. We got a whole lot of love and a whole lot of pain back here that's up for it too. I do hope that you all find it within yourselves to figure out what you can do and must do to get this city of Annapolis on a better foot so that we all can move forward. Because surely we're gonna do it together if that's available, but this is not a reality that we can sit with. So we're gonna keep getting together, we're gonna keep showing up, and we may have to keep reopening these wounds until we all get a clear understanding of how much this is holding us back. We must fix this. And I stand with CAR and all of their movements and all the work they continue to do until we resolve this situation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mike Hinton. I live at 8077 Budding Branch Road, Glen Burnie, Maryland, 21061. I started off in life on the 4th Ward at 83 Northwest Street. And when you look around and you see what has been done, and you hear what's been done, and you feel the cause and effects of what's been done, one of the greatest grievous things that I take away from this is that there's the moral compass that we used to have, it doesn't exist anymore. I see our young people now walking through the streets with their pants falling off, the young ladies with not wearing their clothes. We couldn't get away with that kind of stuff on the 4th Ward. When you left the house, you had to be accounted for, because if you weren't, when you went outside, the whole neighborhood was one great big daycare. We didn't have to lock our doors. We knew who we were. And once again, we robbed of the knowledge of ourselves twice. The first time was after we got here to the shores of America. We were robbed of the knowledge of ourselves, our God, our culture, our history. Everything was taken away. We were molded and shaped and fashioned by, like a piece of clay, by somebody else that took us away from ourselves. So now it's like it's happening all over again. And what I hear most of the time, even prior to coming into meetings like this, when you talk to the children of the ones who actually benefit from this, they'll say, oh, we had nothing to do with that. But if you benefited from it, you had something to do with it. Because the same way that you were able to reap the rewards and the benefits, then you also have to deal with the pain and the suffering of the people who had to go through this. And with my grandmother, Miss Harriet Randall, who, if she was in this room, would light this room up. because she earned everything that she got, and she made sure that her children, as well as her grandchildren, did the same. So we're here today not asking for anything other than what belonged to us in the first place. Because I don't beg for nothing that don't belong to me. I don't beg for anything that's not mine. At some point, you knew we had to come to get it, right? If we give it to us the way that it's supposed to be, because next time we're not coming asking so nice. Today we knocked on the door. The next time we might kick the door in, because it's time for some action. It's time for everybody to stop politicking with us. I don't have time to play that game. I'm getting too old for that. My children are behind me, and I want them to be able to look at me and have something that they can be proud of. And the only way they're gonna know that they can be proud of me is to know that my father stood for something. I'm a Mason, and I'm the worshipful master of Universal Lodge number 14, one of the only buildings that survived out of there. Been there over 150 years. And I'm the worshipful master for the second time because I refused to let that entity die. When they were taking the charter away, I stepped up. So now I'm stepping up here and I'm asking you guys to do the right thing, and let's get some real dialogue about what we're gonna do to move forward. So that way the city doesn't lose everything. We're trying to help one group, but we can work together and figure out some good solutions for this. But if you just keep on ignoring us, we're just gonna keep knocking louder and louder and louder. This gonna fall on your children, and let's hope that that does not happen. Thank you for your time. By the grace of Allah. Thank
you. Good evening. My name is Hazel Snowden. I did not grow up in the 4th Ward, but I'm speaking on behalf of those people who lived on Larkin Street, which is now called City Gate Lane. Franklin Street has still that sign that says Franklin Street, and they put the new name above it. Why did they do that to Annapolis, to Larkin Street? They displaced us. My father was born in 1900. He was born in the house at I live at 2314 Columbia Place in Landover, Maryland. My father was born in 1900. His mother, his siblings, he was born there, and he said he was going to die there. But in 1972, they displaced us to Robinwood. And that was, to me, not a good thing, because I was able to walk to the grocery store for my whole family. My mother had 12 children, and I did the shopping for us. I was only 6 and 7 years old, going to the Safeway in walking distance. We went to the Reed drugstore downtown. We walked everywhere we needed to go. I do not like the fact that they use Larkin Street for that little alleyway, and that's just an alley, that's not a street. Larkin Street is a street, a hill. We used to skate down that hill. I was afraid to skate, but if you were a good skater, you could come down that hill and skate good. We used to come down on sleds and everything. Larkin Street needs to be changed back to Larkin Street, not that little alley over there. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Welcome, Judge.
Hi, my name is Vicki Gibson. I'm here as a private citizen.
Thank you.
My address is 1907 West Street. I support the efforts of the Coalition of Atonement and Repair, and I wanted the work of the core group to be fully acknowledged. So I wanted to ask the core group to please stand. Those would be Argo Duenas, Cynthia Carter, Asan Powell, Elder Charles James, and Linda Davis, and Linda Mundy as well. And then I also wanted to, this has been hard work, but it wouldn't be anything without the support from the community and the impacted people. And so I would like for everyone who is here representing the Old Fourth Ward to stand. Okay? Understand that these people have been affected deeply by the harm that the city did to them. Please understand that and feel that as you ponder the issues that will come forward to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I support all the efforts that all these people are doing for the Fourth Ward as well. And my uncle John Snowden was the one that they hanged at the city of Annapolis, where the jail is right now. And he was pardoned by the governor at that time, Paris Glendenning, thanks to me.
Thank you. Is there anybody who hasn't spoke? Oh, here you go. How we doing?
Good. My heart's a little
Councilwoman
heavy.
Lisa Rodbian, welcome.
My name is Lisa Rodbian, and I represent District 6 on the Anne Arundel County Council, which includes the entire city of Annapolis. Some folks in here might know this, but I'm guessing a lot of folks know that when I first moved to Annapolis in 2010, I'm not an Annapolis native, but my first home here was 104 Clay Street. And I know that Clay Street in the old Fourth Ward was not what it had been, but I just want to tell you what my experience was when I first moved in. My sister and I, long story, my sister and I were moving into a house together at 104 Clay Street. We found a nice house. We met some nice folks in the neighborhood. We showed up with a 26-foot moving truck that was probably about 8 hours later than it was supposed to be, showing up at about 10:30 on a Saturday night. You can picture how that might have felt for us on Clay Street with my sister and I. We were a little nervous, but we were so wrong. We were so wrong. We had, within a few minutes, and I just think this is a story people need to know, within a few minutes of us trying to get this darn gigantic truck parked on Brewer, I think it's Brewer Lane. We were right at the corner of 104. We had people saw what we were trying to do, unload this gigantic truck. And we had people that had never met us before, saw me and my sister, who's a little smaller than me, trying to take out our giant furniture and unload it into this house, because I had come, I was at the end of my husband's last military deployment, and we thought we'd be there all night. That truck was unloaded in less than an hour.
That's what we did.
So I know that there are things on Clay Street in the old Fourth Ward that give it a bad reputation, but people need to know that story, and it changed how I felt, and it made me feel so at home in my new city. But now I'm on the county council, and I'm in a place where I can do something about it, and it's not lost on me that 44 Calvert Street is the address of the home of Anne Arundel County government. It's where the District 6 office and District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 also have their offices. The county executive has their office. This is not a burden that the city should be bearing alone. The county played a role here too, and the state played a role too. And I know what the county budget looks like, and I know what the city budget looks like. I've been looking at them for 6 years now, and the county deserves. The county owes it to the people that were harmed to be involved in the solution. So I didn't know, I was not planning on speaking tonight. I came here to listen and support folks because I know folks had expressed, I was at a caucus of African-American leaders meeting maybe a month or so ago, and some folks told their stories in a way that really just made me understand what happened, and thank you to those of you that told stories. It made a difference and made me understand that this wasn't just, first off, that I didn't get it, that people were taken out of their homes and they weren't compensated appropriately. Sorry for being naive. I thought that happened. And clearly it did not. When people had paid off their mortgages and owned their homes and all of a sudden were in financial despair. Completely. I have never experienced that level of wrong. I ran for office because I believe that when you have something that's unfair, it should be fixed. And this is just beyond the pale. It may be, more than 50 years ago. It may have happened before I was born. But when you see a house on fire, you don't say, well, I didn't start the fire, and I'm just going to let somebody else deal with it. You go and put out the fire. So I don't know what this is going to look like, but I have the county executive's phone number, and on speed dial on my phone, and there's going to be a conversation, and I want to continue the conversation with the folks here tonight and the city, and I think we should probably drag in some state folks in, because there's some responsibility there too. I also want to say, I'm pretty sure that the message, I can't speak for the city alder folk here, but I've had conversation with them. I feel like the message is getting through. Will you just nod and tell me the message is getting through, that the city is ready to be part of the solution too? So I'm way past my 3 minutes, but and I know we have some uphill battles. Please, I know my colleagues on the county council. I'll just start by saying that, but this could be an uphill battle, but it's a battle worth fighting, and fighting until we win.
Right, do we miss anybody? Anybody? All right. Thank you. Thank you for the police. Okay, well, I want to just apologize. I'm sure all of the city council, we apologize for urban renewal. We are disgusted by urban renewal, and this council are going to work with the county and all the county buildings that were put in that site and the state to see what we can do, because we know that it's an amazing community. And I don't know where the preservationists were for the Dixie Hotel, the West Washington, all these amazing places that were really the heart of this community. So, yep. So, yep. And so it is wrong, and we're gonna do whatever we can to fix that. So we appreciate the passion. We appreciate everybody in this community that came out today. Keep coming out, keep coming to the county, keep coming to the state, because we need to hear from you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to declare comments by the general public closed. If you guys could move it outside, that would be great. Thank you. We got another 2 hours of council. Please keep moving, keep moving.
Here's your gavel.
Mr. Mayor, I was also on the list, but I thought you were asking if the coalition was done. I was on the list for public comment. I thought you were asking if the coalition was done.
Okay.
He said up for public comment on the list, and
Was it for something else?
no, that's what I just asked him. Was it for ordinance?
It's probably for something that's on the public hearing.
Correct.
You can speak when public comment. Yeah.
Yes, public comment.
Is there anybody else to speak? He said you declared it closed. Tell him to come back.
What's he here to talk about?
Tell him to come back next time. He on this list. He on this list. He is. Okay, so open it.
Yeah.
It's for the public.
We're gonna bring you up.
It's not open.
Oh boy, invigorating.
Don't let him leave. Don't let him leave. Please, can you clear the chambers? Please clear the chambers. We still have another 2 or 3 hours of council. Thank you. Please clear. Thank you. Please clear the chambers. We still have a whole meeting to go.
Sir, have a seat. Have a seat.
We're going to call you up.
Have a seat.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate and love your passion. Thank you. There is a public hearing. He's here for one of the public. Yeah. He's here for 06.
I'm here for 2 things.
Yes, we've got you down. We've got you. I'll call you when it's up. Okay, Mr. City Attorney, please.
Mr. Mayor, I signed up for public comment on the 3rd page after an empty blank page.
Yes.
I am on both sheets for you.
We're going to call you up. Thank you. And you can talk on both things when you come up. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, Mr. Mayor, is consent calendar.
Could I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Yes.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Yes, aye.
Alderman Shandelmeyer?
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Alderman Huntley?
Aye.
I'm gonna trip that up for a little bit, so I apologize. Alderwoman O'Neill? Aye. Alderwoman Pendell Charles?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is business and miscellaneous, beginning with action item ID 12524, 2025 City Council meeting dates, election year.
Is there a motion to approve ID 125-24?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is discussion issue ID 13824, standing committee membership after the new alderperson swearing in.
Sorry, did you say that one?
ID 13824, that's it.
Thank you.
That's the current.
So I just need to vote on it, right?
You gotta say what you.
You gotta say what you're gonna do.
Okay, I think I made that statement in the opening statement. So we will be putting Alderman Huntley will assume the vacant positions left by Alderwoman
Tierney.
Tierney, sorry. On the Finance Committee, also on Housing and Human Welfare, and the Audit Committee. Thank you. Got a first and a second on that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is appointment AP 4724, which is a reappointment of Ms. Nadine Chin for Board of Appeals.
So moved. I move we take the appointments as a group.
I think I can only see it here.
You appointed them on consent.
There's
This is
only
just
one today.
It's only one.
Okay. Can I get a motion on that? Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is public hearing, beginning with ordinance 0624, citywide prohibition on new drive-through windows.
Thank you. So we have few people signed up to speak here. First is Robert Eaton. Sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. Please come forward and correct the name that I got wrong and give your address, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Robert Eaton. I'm General Counsel to the Maryland Bankers Association, a role that I've had for 40 years. Our office is one block up the street from you. We are very, very, very much concerned about this legislation. We've had conversations with a number of the members. Our head of government relations is here to, he's reached out to a number of you. We didn't know the bill was not going to come up this quickly. I think what I would like to do is to refer you to a couple things and mention a couple points. I know I have limited time. You know, what the bill will do is say that no matter what where you're located within the city, no matter what the needs of the community are, no matter who might want to come in and open a branch of a bank and have it with, and almost every new branch today, anywhere you go, has a drive-through. That's the modern use of many for banks. No matter what, in the city of Annapolis, you will not be able to have a new branch with a drive-through, period. End of story. Now, looking at the Department of Planning and Zoning May 30, 24 memorandum, what they clearly say is that in the last 10 years, the city has seen 4 new construction drive-through facilities permitted, but none in the last 5 years whatsoever. With all due respect to the sponsor and the co-sponsor and to you, Mr. Mayor, I think this is a solution looking for a problem. Right now, we have 6 bank branches within the city limits of Annapolis. When I started coming down here 40 years ago to represent the Maryland Bankers Association, we had practically 6 on Church Circle. Those branches have moved. But in today's world, what people want is to be able to access their banks by not having to park in the parking lot, walk into the branch, stand in line, and then wait to speak to a teller or a bank employee. If I'm a parent, if I'm a mother and I've got my kids in the car with me, what I want to do if I need to get something done is I want to be able to go through the drive-through and get it done. I don't want to have to move my kids out of the car. If I work 9 to 5 and it's 6 o'clock at night in February and it's dark outside and I need cash, do I want to have to park my car in a parking lot and then walk up to the ATM in order to get my money? No. What I want to be able to do is go through the drive-through, and that's why in today's world, every branch that you see open up has a drive-through. I would urge you to please read the report. The recommendation of the staff of the Planning Commission was to not adopt this legislation. Don't adopt it. The last point I'll make is, I know my time is up, that the statement from the sponsor, which I've read, and with all due respect, mentions 10 other municipalities that have addressed this issue. Of those 10, only the city of Minneapolis is the only city, the only municipality in the entire United States that has passed legislation which bans all drive-throughs within the city limits. We would hope, what we get pressure from is from legislators and from other people about why are there not more branches. Well, the answer to having more branches in the jurisdiction is not to ban drive-throughs. So I'm happy to meet with any of you and continue to talk about this, but we are opposed to the legislation as it applies to banks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Eden. Next up, Evan Richards.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Evan Richards. I'm the head of government community affairs for Maryland Bankers Association. I won't belabor the point. The one thing I want to make sure that gets reiterated is the importance that banks have in communities. We talk about access to funds and the transactional duties that a bank have on a daily basis, but they do more than that. It's important to remember that banks have to comply with the Federal Community Reinvestment Act, which means they're not only providing these daily services, they're investing in affordable housing and neighborhood revitalization projects. They're investing in workforce development programs that focus on job creation and retention. And something that's near and dear to my heart, partnering with schools and educational nonprofits to provide financial education for those who aren't receiving it at home. Again, banks improve the quality of life. It's not always about that transactional daily value. Having that bank present in your community is extremely important. And they're going to want access to that drive-through. The last thing that we would want to see is, we have about a half a dozen bank branches with drive-throughs here in the city. I'd love to have a crystal ball and tell you what banking is going to look like in 10 years, but I don't. We don't know if those 6 drive-throughs are still going to be there. Some of those drive-throughs may close. If that's the case, if you have a new bank who wants to come in, and let's say they want to do more than just operate a full-service branch. Maybe they want to add some corporate offices. Maybe they want to add a community center, like JP Morgan Chase did in downtown Baltimore. They're going to be, the way the bill is written now, they're kind of going to be limited as to where they can locate. These current facilities may not be adequate for their use. So if they're given that option to look either inside the city limits or look outside, and that drive-through is incredibly important to them, which our members have indicated to us, they're going to go outside the city. That leads to that community space isn't going to exist within city limits. Funding for those projects may be at risk. And quite frankly, the city's not going to receive any tax revenue from a parcel of land that's not being used. So again, we strongly urge the council to reconsider this piece of legislation, and ultimately to consider the benefit that banks provide in the community. And with that, I guess I'm not out of time, but I'll give you some time back.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Richards. Next up, Marilyn Coolidge.
Good evening, Mayor Buckley and members of the City Council. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Marilyn Coolidge. I live at 7101 Bayfront Drive, apartment 512, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. I'm attending this evening to express my opposition for Ordinance 0624, citywide prohibition on new drive-through windows. My husband and I moved to Baywoods of Annapolis a little over 2 years ago. Baywoods is a continuing care retirement community which offers independent living, assisted living, and coming soon, memory care. We have a little over 200 residents in our community. While we moved in at the tail end of COVID, we heard many tales of the isolation that all of us here felt. Many stories about survival in a closed community setting, such as Baywoods. All were so grateful to have access to drive-through facilities for their banking, pharmacy, and food needs. Just to get out of a closed community meant so much to all of them. And I know these facilities serve many within the city, not just Baywoods. Since moving here, we've met many wonderful residents who are dependent on canes, walkers, rollators, and wheelchairs. Many of them still drive. So without the convenience of drive-through facilities, their mobility to get into and out of these retailers can add challenges to their shopping trips. I can certainly recall the years of motherhood with young children who were sick and needed to load them into the car seats, then out of the car seats and into strollers or shopping carts, when at the drugstore to pick up a prescription. Then reverse the process, getting them back out of the stroller, into the car seats, to get them home and into bed. This could be exhausting, especially when the rain was pouring down or snow was heavy. There are employees who work shifts, doctors, nurses, police, fire personnel, students who work during the day, then attend night school, all who have put in long and sometimes stressful hours. All they want to do is pick up a sandwich and a drink or go to the ATM and head home. I've encountered parking lots at night where a parking lot light is out or not as bright as they should be. So for safety reasons, I would certainly want to remain in my car. The value of drive-throughs in our community are essential. Something I did not see addressed in the ordinance is the redevelopment of an existing drive-through. Say Truist Bank is unable to expand due to site constraints and they relocate just outside the city. Now another drive-through use wants to redevelop the building to meet their prototype. Is this land on which the Truist building sat grandfathered in for a drive-through use? I feel it should
Marilyn,
be.
that is 4 minutes.
Can I just go real fast?
Yeah, please wrap it up.
Yes,
Thank
sir. I feel it should be it should be allowed so it doesn't diminish the property owner's development rights. Also, I think about fire or a tornado, as we saw in West Street, to start destroying part of the drive-through building that makes it untenable. This could take a few years with insurance settlements. So would this drive-through use be able to rebuild? Lastly, the existing regulation process within the city to obtain approval and a permit for a new drive-through has the tenant or developer going through many hurdles to jump over. Traffic impact analysis with requirements to mitigate any impact. Site design review process to ensure ingress and egress does not impede pedestrian access and circulation. Planning department review, public works, state highway, not to mention citizens' input, which can be very effective. Drive-throughs are part of our culture, offering convenience to many who depend on them. I respectfully request you oppose ordinance 0624. Thank you.
Thank you.
For
Thank
letting
you.
me go a little over.
Appreciate it. Thank you. We're definitely listening. Thank you. Next up, Sarah Price.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and honorable alder people of Annapolis. I am Sarah Price here on behalf of the Maryland Retailers Alliance, which is headquartered at 171 Conduit Street, right around the corner. We also manage the Maryland Association of Chain Drugstores. So I am here on behalf of that entity to express concerns about this ordinance. In the retail setting, drive-throughs are primarily used in pharmacies, and they provide increased access and convenience to a wide variety of customers. Community pharmacies are a major access point to healthcare in many areas, and drive-through facilities can be very impactful in this setting. Access to medications, testing, and other goods and services through drive-through windows was particularly meaningful during the COVID-19 pandemic. I got tested through a drive-through window at a CVS in my neighborhood. These drive-throughs continue to provide safety and access to individuals who experience limited mobility or health concerns and convenience to all other customers. Drive-through facilities can also promote public health by allowing customers who are immunocompromised or currently experiencing a communicable illness to obtain their medications without exposing themselves or others to harm. We understand and are sympathetic to the desire to create a more walkable community in Annapolis, but an unnuanced and completely restrictive proposal on future construction of drive-throughs could result in limited access to pharmacies for your constituents in the future. We are ultimately opposed to this as written. We hope that if you should choose to move forward as you are in the committee process, we hope that you might consider amendments for allowing pharmacies in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Brendan Mahoney is next.
Awesome. Thank you, Council. I'm Brendan Mahoney. I represent the Restaurant Association of Maryland and our members with Annapolis locations. We're opposed to this legislation.
And just an address for the record, please.
Yes, 6301 Hillside Court in Columbia, Maryland.
Thank you.
I would refer you to our written testimony. It goes into much more detailed explanation of some of our concerns we have with this legislation. You know, drive-throughs are essential for many restaurant models, in particular fast food restaurants. Contrary to popular belief, many of the drive-throughs in the city of Annapolis that are our members are owned by local franchisees. So this means they're small business owners, and they really are integral parts of the community. Banning the construction of new drive-throughs would limit opportunities for these local entrepreneurs. This legislation would also have a negative impact on individuals with disabilities, families, the elderly. In particular, for those with disabilities, drive-throughs provide a convenient and accessible way to access food and beverage. A recent Morning Consult survey found that 55% of adults find takeout essential to their daily lifestyle. These communities, in particular those with disabilities, deserve the same access to services as others. The drive-through prohibition is also not practical in the city of Annapolis. The Netherlands is frequently cited as an inspiration for this bill. However, there are still many parts of Annapolis without the necessary public transportation infrastructure or urban density that makes these models successful like they are in Europe. Finally, our industry has seen a huge shift post-COVID-19 to contactless drive-through services. In the same morning consult survey mentioned earlier, 66% of adults are more likely to utilize takeout and drive-through services than pre-pandemic. And the hospitality industry, it's all about adapting to consumer wants and needs. And not only is this contrary to that, in the future, it might dissuade potential investment in the city of Annapolis and businesses to open up here. The path to operating a drive-through here is already very heavily regulated. It's an extensive permitting procedure. So we would urge the council to utilize these existing procedures or revise them to kind of address some of the proponents' concerns on this legislation. And we'd be more than happy to work with the council on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mahoney. Right, Effie, thank you for your patience. You're up next, please. And did you need to speak on the previous thing? Or not?
I did sign up on the third page. I was 14th listed.
Okay, sorry. Well, we missed that. So
that's okay. There was a blank page in between them, so I do understand. Yeah. What would you like me to do? Since we're on topic, I can go on this topic first. I think that would make sense.
And then finish off with the other thing.
Appreciate it. Thank you. My comments on this one will be a little more short than the 3 minutes, and I won't be like 6 minutes like last time I was here. I promise. I didn't know how I felt about 0624 when I first read it. I read everything that is on your agenda pretty much every council session that you guys have. But then I did read the accompanying position paper by the sponsor and co-sponsor, and I gotta say, I was convinced that I support this legislation, this ordinance, and I hope that you all listen to me as a resident rather than as a lobbyist for financial institutions or retailers or restaurants, because the future of the city that I chose to try and live in and plan on living in is one that I think aligns with the goals of this ordinance, which is a more walkable and less car-dependent city planning. I don't know how it would get to be at that point until you start passing legislation and putting your resources towards that goal. So I'm very grateful that you guys, most of you, Alderman Huntley excluded here, were able to take part in that trip to the Netherlands. It's a country that I was born in, actually, and their infrastructure for pedestrian travel is bar none. So it is a worthy goal to be working towards. I support this ordinance, and I do hope that you consider, although I don't know how many residents are here to speak in favor of this, that at least as a resident that frequently tries to not use their car when I don't have to, I believe the intent of this ordinance is extremely, extremely well put. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to?
Yes.
Gotcha. Yep.
Thank you very much. This would have been a little earlier. I'm going to devote my time here, the 3 minutes, to welcoming and addressing the newly sworn-in alderperson, Mr. Huntley, directly. Welcome, sir. It is a great thing, I think, for this the diversity of this city council to have the addition of a Gen Zer who, if they plan like I do on living in this city long-term, may be able to keep an eye towards the future without having to placate everyone focused on their comfort in the present. Since you are filling a vacancy and may seek re-election, you will have a delicate rope to walk. You will be confronted with the reality that often the opinions of your ward's most vocal and communicative residents may not always align with the silent majority of the rest of them, and will at times be at odds with the actions that could otherwise benefit most of the city's residents. I say this because recent meetings that the city has held to plan for its future, for things such as the 2040 comp plan, city dock revitalization, and public water access plan, can at times feel as if they are overrun by a privileged NIMBY, that's not in my backyard, crowd that is likely unrepresentative of the greater Annapolitan community. Like these meetings, your email inbox will be filled with messages from well-connected citizens with ample time on their hands, clustered in affluent neighborhoods, with an outsized ability to effectively organize to their shared benefit. When I advocated for a more equitable distribution of public water access improvement projects in the current CIP pipeline, I was critical that what the city has been funding and is signaling it will prioritize next feels contradictory to the equity goals itself asserts as a guiding principle. I pointed out what I perceived to be a special attention given to certain parts of the city, in particular to the 12 already well-maintained and well-equipped street end parks on the north side of Spa Creek, compared to my Eastport neighborhood's singular point of access at Burnside Park on the south side of the creek and west of the bridge. After the last council meeting, your predecessor admonished me for implying that residents in those neighborhoods were elitist and unduly recipients of favoritism in city politics, a conversation that ended with, "Well, I guess your neighborhood just doesn't organize as effectively." That may be accurate, honestly. However, what I'm trying to stress upon you here is that as a decision maker, you will need to balance the needs and interest of your own ward's inhabitants with those of us in wards 2 through 8, so absurd disparities don't occur and long-established inequities don't widen. So we can make sure that the parks lower down on the city's street and waterfront assessment list in priority for maintenance, like Thompson Street, Conduit Street, and Amos Garrett, don't get a combined $647,000 in bond, grant, and capital reserve funding, while a park higher on that same list, but on the other side of the water, crumbles and rots away into Spa Creek. I'm hopeful that your reported interest in promoting water access and bicycle and other non-car dependent transportation infrastructure will translate into a fair and wide focus for improving the city rather than a narrow one. My last comment. Mr. Mayor, one way to avoid the surprise of sharing the water with long-term residents for their first time is to ensure underinvested in neighborhoods are being prioritized for improvement. Some projects in the CIP, many projects I should say, fulfill this, but there is still huge room for improvement. There's still time in September to ask for a DNR Waterway Improvement Fund grant for Ward 8 Burnside. Please do it. Please get together with the finance director, harbor master, whoever you need to. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I did go over.
Thank you. Thank you, Effie. Please come forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
No worries.
I'm
State your
doing well.
full name and address. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name's Eric McWilliams. I'm with the Government Relations Chair for the state of Maryland for the ICSC. I'm also work for Bowler Engineering out of Towson, Maryland, 901 Delaney. Just to bring to light, I'd also like to add, I'm a landscape architect and planner as well. So I understand what the city is after. The city is after not looking at these unsightly drive-throughs. But here from the Office of the Ombudsman, I'd like to read a little bit about what they say. Demographics. Drive-through users in the studies we looked at were disproportionately female, low-income, seniors, African Americans, or Hispanic, as compared to the overall population. As such, a ban may disproportionately affect these groups. Seniors and people with disabilities, people with mobility issues utilize drive-through services, especially important services like banking and pharmacies, to provide them better access without having to exit their vehicles. And finally, this legislation may disproportionately impact some of our residents, including groups of underserved, and underrepresented residents. There are ways to minimize the look of drive-throughs. Through planning, you could do walls, you can put it in the back of the buildings, et cetera. There are also a kind of a density element. The denser that portion of the city, the less viable it is to have a drive-through. And you already have zoning for this. You have zoning that restricts drive-through in the city center. And it's tough, even as you progress outward, to do a drive-through. If you want to reduce the impact of drive-throughs over time, increase the zoning of the city, increase the density of the city, and drive-throughs will slowly fade away. We also have, if we're concerned about the elements of exhaust, et cetera, we are slowly switching to, especially in Maryland, an electric vehicle-centric economy. So over time, and these things take a long time, over time, your drive-throughs will most likely dissipate or be pushed to the perimeter. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward and speak on 06-24? Seeing no other movement, I declare the public hearing closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is 012-24, Maritime Industry Economic Development Fund.
Nobody signed up to speak? Would anybody like to come forward and speak on 0-12-24? Okay, I'm going to declare the public hearing on 0-12-24 closed, accept into the recommendations of the Planning Commission regarding 0-12-24 dated May 14th, 2024. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The next item's legislative action, beginning with first readers. Ordinance 01624, Special Residential Parking Districts Permit Renewals.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt 0-16-24 on first reader?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. I refer 0-16-24 to the Finance Committee and the Transportation Committee. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda for first readers, 01724, Elections Definitions.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt 0-17-24 on first reader?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. I refer 0-17-24 to Rules of City Government Committee. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is 01824, Elections Mail-in Voting.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt 0-18-24 on first reader?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. I refer 0-18-24 to Rules of City Government Committee. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is 01924, Elections Ballot Questions.
Right, is there a motion to adopt 0-19-24 on first reader?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. I refer 0-19-24 to Rules and City Government. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item.
Yes, sir. The next item is 02024, Elections, Surplus Funds and Reporting Deadlines.
Is there a motion to adopt 0-20-24 on first reader?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Refer 0-20-24 to Rules of City Government and Finance Committee. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item is 02124, Taxicab Driver License Criteria.
Is there a motion to adopt 0-21-24 on first reader?
In honor of Robert Eads.
Yeah. Can I get a second? And all those in favour, an aye for Robert Eads? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Thank you. Let's refer that to Economic Matters Committee. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item is 02524, Special Residential Parking Districts Technical Corrections.
Is there a motion to adopt 0-25-24 on first reader?
So moved.
Second, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Let's refer that to the Transportation Committee and the Transportation Board. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item is 02624, City of Annapolis Purchasing and Procurement.
Is there a motion to adopt 0-26-24 on first reader?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Refer that to the Finance Committee. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is resolutions for first reader, beginning with R4224, Establishment of Salaries Review Commission.
Can we adopt, can I get a motion? Thank you. Sorry.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is R4324, Fees Schedule Updated for Title IV Elections.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm not opposed to that. I apologize, Mr. Mayor. I am a aye vote on that. I just have a quick point of order question. On a previous resolution. R4224, did that get a committee that was reviewed to?
It's the establishment of the salary review.
Did you get a committee?
You can make it, but it's not required to go anywhere.
Does our deputy city manager have a request for that?
I just didn't hear one. I was just curious.
No, it's a citizen group to establish to pay for the next council.
My concerns have been addressed.
Thank you. So we had all ayes on that. Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is R4524, procurement fees related to section 608330, and I'll just read it. For the purpose of adding fees related to purchasing procurement chapter Title 6 into the annual fees schedule.
Sorry.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. We're now in a second reader. Legislative acts for second reader.
Cool.
Beginning with R1424, City of Annapolis Plastic Bag Reduction Act fines.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes. Alderman O'Neill.
I would request that this be postponed because the Finance Committee did not have an opportunity to review those prior. We postponed decision on the fines because we were looking for more information.
So you want to put a motion to postpone? Yeah.
Motion to postpone, yes.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Okay. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Move we adjourn.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
The agenda is complete, Mr. Mayor.
Wow, that was a good one. Okay. Is there anything else for good order? Alderman O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to commend the staff of Emergency Management, Office of Emergency Management, in particular Kevin Simmons, when I was in the middle of a meeting and was unable to help a resident who I blatantly got blasted for this evening. I called Kevin Simmons and asked him to, in my stead, work on the situation since he was much better equipped to do so, and he did and took care of the situation rapidly and has followed up. So I wanted to commend him for stepping in and doing exactly that. Sometimes older people aren't there for emergency situations, and I'm not sure that we should be when we have a wonderful Office of Emergency Management.
So for anybody, just for clarification, 2 elevators went down in our senior living community, Morris Blum. While it's in the middle of a $56 million renovation, it was a terrible situation. As people stated, there were emergency management there. There were many city people around there trying to fix that terrible situation. And it's not acceptable when these things go down, but things do happen. And I also want to thank our Office of Emergency Management, and I was kept abreast of the situation just like you were. So
I knew the fire department was there as well, and they
Yeah.
were doing the best they could under the situation, but Chief Simmons really did step in and step up, so.
thank you all. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman
about-
Finlayson?
Yes, thank you. About the incident that happened at Morris Blum, I think my question is, that's a public-private partnership now. Our staff stepped in and assisted the residents. I wondered why the company who is in that private partnership was not called in to address the concerns also. I think that should be a practice. We tend to jump in wherever we're needed, but there is a responsibility that the owners should have also.
We are investigating that, absolutely. Thank you. Anything else for good order? Okay, could I get a motion to adjourn? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.